that made me appreciate Miss Keys and the rest of my black brothers and sisters more. It was at this time that I promised never again to use the N-word. What you think about that?
I think if Alicia Keys created a political platform out of the use of the N-word on the set, then that was good, and she had the right to do that. But I think far stronger stands will have to be taken.
Right.
She's still participating in a vehicle called Hollywood that I've never seen treat us well. I've never seen it treat us well.
Right.
And so my concern for her will be, you know, your continued participation. Like if you continue to be loved by those who love you right now, it'll come at a cost to you.
Right.
Because we've seen that over and over again. Martin Lawrence, you know, having a nervous breakdown, waving a gun in the middle of, you know, an intersection. Mariah Carey taking her clothes off. Like, this is the Dave Chappelle interview. This is what he talked about. You know, the reason why he wouldn't take the 50 million. Same stuff. It's a flawed vehicle.
Right.
It does something to us. We lose our way, you know. And so for me, in reading that, it just made me present to the fact that she's in harm's way. Because she is crossover. She does have a lot of appeal. There are a lot of people who love Alicia Keys beyond our community, more so than our community. Right. That makes her in harm's way. So I'm glad she took a stand. She'll have to take more of it.
That is good. And I think it speaks to, you know, like we were talking about earlier, it speaks to systems.
Yeah.
And Hollywood is a system. It's a system that pumps all sorts of different views, not only into, especially black people in America, but really all over the world. Because, you know, Hollywood is the cultural center not only of this country, but of the entire world. Because that's where people get their thoughts about who we are as a people. It's from what they see on Hollywood, and that could be in Africa, that could be in France, that could be in Italy, that could be anywhere where they get a movie. So I think Sister Alicia Keys' stand was good, but it's not nearly enough because
she'll have to do more.
Right.
She'll have to do a lot more.
And anyone, like you said, who's in Hollywood is going to have to do more if they're people of conscience.
That's right.
Or else we're just going to keep perpetuating the same stereotypes. We're going to keep being the same niggas because, man, if we're going to abolish the N-word, man, we need to abolish BET.
Well, right, and that's interesting that no one has bothered to really give that close consideration, that BET is so problematic for me. It is. It's so problematic for me. It is soft porn at this point. The videos are soft porn. Sisters are half naked. Brothers are slanging or banging or talking about when they used to slang and they used to bang. There's a reason why 50 Cent is so popular, why he's so well funded, well endorsed, why he gets to write books and he's MTV's boy. There's a reason for that. There is a reason for that because he reflects who those in power want you to reflect. You shouldn't look like Brother Herman Muhammad standing upright. You should look like 50 Cent with some Teflon fighting to get some bling and exploit a woman. You know what I mean? Talking about when you used to sell crack. That's what Hollywood does. Hollywood is intended around creating dissatisfaction. So it sets things up and it positions things in a way where you watch it and you want more than what you have. My hair doesn't look like that. I want that. I don't have that car. And I want that. I don't have that gear. I want that. I don't have that life. I want that. And it takes you further and further away from yourself. So you're chasing a carrot that somebody designed for you. And it's removing you, removing you away from the things that matter, that would give you peace.
So, should we abolish the N-word?
I myself cannot. In the sense that
niggas is gonna be niggas.
I refer to niggas, you know. I refer to niggas as niggas. I mean, I'm constantly one about saying, you know, you're larger than that,
right.
or whatever. But I will be quick to tell you, you know, right now, you are knee deep in nigger. Like,
I'm gonna just refer to white folks as niggas.
They are too. The architects gotta be, right? They're the architect of it.
Right, I'm gonna call Negroes, and niggas.
Okay.
But I think we should abolish nigger stuff.
I do too.
And nigger systems, which
too.
will call for the fall of this entire country and every system that it has set up.
It would. You would have to repudiate
absolutely.
it all.
And that's what really, this program is about, the Final Call News Hour, because the Ministry of Information, brothers' vision is to, like I said, give alternative views and commentary other than what we would normally get on any traditional media outlet. So it's about getting that proper information, that right information over to our people. And the whole Millions More movement is about the same things, because we're talking about Hollywood, so there's a Ministry of Arts and Culture. We're talking about education, so there's a Ministry of Education. But it has to be true art and culture. It has to be true education, true to self, as opposed to being true to what someone else's image is of us.
What someone has prescribed for you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's right.
Now we want to go to the next piece, and we're going to do something a little different because we're going to go to an archived edition of the Final Call newspaper. And the reason for such is our sister, our guest here, Dominique Christina's mother, Dr. Jacqueline Benton. She wrote an article, or she didn't write an article, but she was interviewed by a sister, Adiba Falami, for an article that appeared in the Final Call newspaper. Now, this Final Call was volume number 26, number 11, and it says America Trapped in Iraq, and it's interesting that this article ties right in with the results of America being trapped in Iraq. So it really just speaks to really the divinity and the prophetic nature of the paper. But this article that Sister Adiba Falami wrote in reference to your mother, Professor Jacqueline Benton, deals with her mission to preserve the Gullah and the geechie culture, right? Now, I'm not very familiar with. I've heard the term geechie and Gullah, but I really don't have that much knowledge of the subject.
I can give you some clarity. Gullah culture. So we know that there was a slave trade, that took us from West and Central Africa and parceled us out throughout the diaspora. I mean, we're everywhere as a result of the slave trade. Africans who were brought here to this continent, by and large, landed in the southern states. However, a good many of them were in South Carolina, Georgia, and the Sea Islands off of those two states. What's unique about the culture is that because they were separate from the mainland, it was difficult to get there. I mean, you couldn't just hop over and hop back because this is before bridges were built to connect the two. The slave master tried to stay on the Sea Islands but was unable to do so because the slaves, the Africans on these islands, were there for a particular purpose. They were there for the purpose of growing rice. So they took Africans from Sierra Leone because that is where rice was grown and the people were expert at that. Those Africans had to create a tropical environment in order to grow the rice, and these white folks couldn't sustain that, so they were getting sick, getting cholera, and so they couldn't stay on the Sea Islands, which meant that they couldn't watch what the slaves were doing. So that created a unique opportunity to preserve the culture. So these Africans who were all coming from basically the same place, Sierra Leone, right, were able to speak their language. They were able to continue to practice Islam. They were able to continue to participate in all the traditions and rituals